Hello everyone, welcome. Great to have you with us. If you're new to our channel, my name is Vahid. I am the producer and DM for Dice Legenz. We're a Dungeons & Dragons live streaming show. And today, we've got a special little 1 hour thing. We've got an interview with boing, Adam King from Viva La Dirt League. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show, on the stream.
It's so good to have you here. So Adam and I met April last year.
Mm-hmm. At the Dungeons & Dragons movie premiere. They did a nerd fest, invited us all to the premiere of the movie, which was cool.
And because we are fest nerds, we got invitations.
Yeah. We fancied we got to go to the premiere, not the world premiere, the New Zealand premiere.
Yeah, New Zealand premiere. And because I had already had Rob's been on our show as a guest player and a guest. I think he's been on our show like 5 times. So
wow,
when you guys came in, I was like, "Hey, Rob! Hey, guys!" And Rob said, "Hey, do you want to sit with us?" And so you and the rest of the Viva guys were down looking cool, and me and Rob were on the end snickering about D&D in-jokes.
It was good. I actually really enjoyed that night. And if anyone watching hasn't seen the D&D movie, good. What are you waiting for? Go watch it. It's a bloody good movie.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the most. Like some movies you see in the theater and it's better. I definitely enjoyed it. I saw it twice in the movie theater and twice at home, and I definitely enjoyed it more in the theater around my friends.
A good proper popcorn movie, laugh out loud, great little in-jokes, great little adventure story. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and just enough kind of things that they did that contrary to the rules of the game that people go, "What? How many times does she do a wild shape? She's a druid. She can only wild shape 3 times a day. What's she doing?"
She wild shaped like 12 times in that scene. That's not possible.
It's not possible. And then, of course, I bet you there's people in the world metaing it, right? Maybe she's like...
How could she possibly have done that?
Anyway, so everyone, thanks for joining us for this interview. We're going to be talking about D&D content creation. As you know, Adam is a core cast member for Viva La Dirt League, both on both their channels, the Viva La Dirt League and the Viva La Dirt League D&D channel. Mm-hmm. So it's so great having you with us. I was thinking, in the off chance that people haven't met you before, why don't we start with your origin story? Like, what has brought you on this journey of streaming up to the point of, in content creation, YouTube, up to the point that you're doing D&D content?
My origin story is I fell into a vat of acid in a chemical plant, and it gave me the amazing ability to work 24/7 and completely commit myself to content creation, writing, directing, acting, in the old days, editing, writing, doing all the props making and costume making. Gave me the uncanny ability to be actually able to do all of those things all at the same time.
Amazing. That is some super acid.
And in that time of my life, I met Rowan and Ellen, and we kind of initially, when I met Rowan and Ellen, we were introduced by a friend who wanted me to help them write Wrecked, the web series that we ended up doing about an esports team. And in helping them write Wrecked, we kind of bonded over video games, filmmaking, acting, writing, editing, all of those things, and started doing a few little sketches together. And then, the rest is history, basically. Yeah, and basically we bonded. Alan, Ron, and I bonded over the love of video games and filmmaking, and they already were doing this YouTube channel thing, and I got on board, and there it is.
What?
That's the full story.
And there it is.
Yeah. The rest is history.
Well,
I mean, I could detail all 1,700 videos for you if you like, but I feel like that we don't quite have the time for this stream.
Now look, Viva La Dirt League, before you joined, their very first video was a StarCraft music video. Parody.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
After I joined, I was only a part of 2 StarCraft music videos, and then we did a couple of Hearthstone music videos. But I mean, there used to be this golden time in YouTube where parody music videos were like the golden thing on YouTube. Like everyone was doing parody music videos, and that was a way to get famous, get views on YouTube. And it's just not a thing anymore. And I think it's a cultural thing. People don't care about them as much anymore. But it's also a YouTube thing, is you can't monetize them because it gets demonetized by the overlords of the record companies that don't want you to use the original song of the parody.
Yeah, right. And
so I mean, a lot of effort goes into a parody music video, and if you're not earning money from it, then why do it? Basically.
And look, I'm a musician, right? So I come to the TV industry as a music composer who collects royalties, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I fully understand. Like, I'm not saying evil musicians. I've realized the business, and that's makes it hard basically these days.
Yeah, fair enough. And then, but when you first joined Viva La Dirt League, you guys weren't doing D&D at all, right?
No, we weren't.
You weren't doing any of that content.
And really, I had played a little bit of D&D, and by a little bit, I mean literally like guested in my girlfriend at the time, wife now, guested in a couple of games that her friends were playing. And it wasn't even really D&D from memory. It was, by that I mean, I think it was something else. I don't exactly remember what format it was, but it wasn't it wasn't Dungeons and Dragons. So I had a tiny bit of experience, and Alan and Ron had 0. Yeah. So we basically no experience in the Dungeons and Dragons community.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. And so then, you guys decided, hey, this D&D thing's kind of big. We should maybe connect into that. And your very first, episode with Rob, I love it that in that, because I was in preparation for this, I was rewatching some of that, and I was rewatching the first one with Rob, and you guys didn't even know his last name at that point. It was just.
Yeah, it was one of those classic things where it was like we had met him in person probably like 3 times because we'd had our initial meeting with him. We did like a one shot which we never released, which we ended up putting on Patreon, and there would probably been another time that we'd met before. And so here I was introducing him, and literally as his first name came out of my mouth, and you can see it happen on camera, I go, "Oh, I don't know. What's your last name?"
Yeah. And I think Roland saved your butt, right? Hardly.
That kind of stuff is what I love about not only Viva La Dirt League but our D&D is we're not pretending that we're some mega corporation who are perfectly rehearsed and perfectly organized. Like, we're a bunch of mates making fun content. Why edit that out? Why do another take? Why try and make it seem like something that it isn't?
Yeah.
And so we left it in.
And actually, my experience here on our channel is that the audience loves it when you make a mistake. They eat it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's why we leave them in the green screens in D&D. Like we'll have the little laugh breaks and the corpsing and people talking off camera, and if Tom, our camera guy, during the table play bumps the table and makes a noise, we'll look off camera and laugh at him. And there's very, very small amounts that get cut out of our D&D channel. It's the tiniest things that get cut out.
Yeah. So
it's literally just when someone goes, I need to go pee, and it's, instead of making a joke out of it, it's just a matter of fact, I need to go pee, and just chop that out. And
only so many pee jokes we need. But there's no fourth wall, right?
Say that again, sorry?
There's no fourth wall.
No, God, never a fourth wall.
Yeah, yeah. So then you experimented, blah blah blah. Did you envision that it would be so successful that it would still be going 4 years later?
I mean, I assume we hoped that it would be, for sure. That there was already a lot of. I mean, there was already Critical Role. There were already other pretty successful Dungeons and Dragons content creators online already. Stranger Things was very popular.
Yeah, totally.
We could see the growth of Dungeons and Dragons happening already. So I think there was always the hope that it would be long running. Whether or not that it would be as successful as we are now, I don't know. Possibly not.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely one of the biggest D&D channels for sure, undisputed. You know.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd love to know. It's hard. It's because D&D is not a category on YouTube. You can't search Social Blade by D&D creators and go, who's number one? Critical Role, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, I'd love to know how big we are in comparison to a lot of others.
And it's interesting, actually, in terms of as a content creator, when uploading when we upload our Dice Legenz content, at the very bottom of the upload stuff, it has an option of what category you're in. Are you entertainment? Are you lifestyle? Are you cooking? Are you gaming?
Yeah.
And we go, yes, we're gaming. And then you enter, it says, type in the game. And you type in Dungeons & Dragons, and it is not an option at all.
Yeah. Even tabletop's not an option. Board games isn't an option. Like, it has no idea.
Yeah. So, discrimination.
I know, right? Come on, YouTube. Goodness gracious.
Terrible, terrible. Okay, can you talk us through then the process of, because like you'd played a couple of games of quasi D&D, TTRPG, you have no idea what it was before, right? Okay, then you did a one shot to kind of warm into it. We did the same thing on our channel because our cast members are TV and stage actors. They're not D&D players. So what was the process of like character creation? How important was the character creation? Did you guys care? Was it something that you guys methodically, did you guys think about, okay, we need characters that have these kind of, how much content
went into that?
How much director writing went into the composition of the cast and, well, we knew the cast already, but of the characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So in that initial, I'll skip the initial Patreon one shot we did and the Descent into Avernus. So we did Descent into Avernus with Britt, with the three of us and Britt.
Yeah.
And she was when we came to do the main campaign, Britt had indefinitely moved to Canada as far as we knew at that point. So the cast then became the three of us and Ben. And there were big discussions. So in that Descent to Avernus, we had done Greg, Bodger, and Baradun. And we knew that was going to be a one-shot. So we just kind of just chose those characters. And then Britt was a new character. When it came to the main campaign, there was big deliberations about what we want to do. We knew that we wanted this new Dungeons & Dragons channel to be all set in the world of Epic NPC Man. So we knew it was going to be in Azerim. We knew we'd be using our NPC Man characters, or at least characters that would exist in the NPC Man world.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of discussions about, do we use our NPCs that people know, like Baradun, Bodger, and Greg, or do we create new characters that aren't tied to... Because there are some limitations to using NPCs that we already know, like what does it mean for the wider world that these three haven't been in Honeywood for 6 months this point in the campaign?
Yeah.
And what does it mean that they're having these quite life-changing, transformative things happen to them?
Yeah. Are you going to break? Are you going to break the other content streams?
Yeah. Are we going to break the series? Are we going to break NPC Man by having these characters in this? And we decided we decided to kind of hand wave all that, and the running gag now is everything in NPC D&D is canon until it's not. Or it's happening on a different server, or it's a journey that they went on, and presumably at the end of it all they're going to go back to Honeywood. Who knows? Or they're the quest versions of themselves. We've done Quest Greg before in NPC Man. We just kind of decided to hand wave all of that and go, people love our NPC Man characters, so let's use those characters. But then we had to decide what bloody characters we're going to use. Like, am I going to be Baradun or Eugene? And Baradun is more characterized, so we went for Baradun. Are we going to do Bodger, or are we going to do Bernard the Mugger, or are we going to do Balin? Balin's difficult because he's only got one line, and if we do the Muggers, then they're pretty one note as well. Bodger's pretty fleshed out. Bodger seems like the natural choice, and then Greg is epic NPC Man, so it had to be Greg. So we did a lot of discussion went into what characters, and then because at that time Ben didn't actually have an NPC that he played, we decided to make up a character for him. And that's Bob. And as I kind of want to let everyone know now that we knew then, we just decided that Bob was like whether or not he's going to be an NPC or a player, and so Bob. And that's what he is. So that's confirmed there now for you guys. That's what Bob is.
Yeah, I love it. I thank you for doing that reveal live on our channel. I really appreciate that.
That's absolutely fine.
It's a real privilege that you trust our channel with such privileged information.
Privileged information. Yeah, for sure.
And that our audience will hold that sacred to their heart.
Exactly, and not tell anyone else.
No one else at all. Love it. Great. So then, fast forward 4 years. Okay? It's very, very uncommon in the media world, in the theater world, in the television world, in any kind of media part of the world or performance for someone to play the same character for 4 years. Like maybe
and evolving as opposed to play the same character night after night in a stage show or something.
Exactly. Yeah, right. It's not Phantom of the Opera where you're playing the Phantom because you're that guy for
and it's the same script, the same lines, the same performance night after night. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So how do you find it now knowing that you've committed, in retrospect, you've retrospectively committed to portray the same character with evolution, of course, over a 4-year period?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not, it's 4 years in D&D. Like, I'd been playing Baradun for probably 3 years prior to that as well.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So it does feel cool because, I mean, Baradun's obviously very close to my heart and playing him, but was very close to my heart literally from his inception as a character in Epic NPC Man, in being that he's such a deep character, and it actually kind of breaks my heart that we haven't really got to the full depths of his character in NPC Man and in D&D, because he's the main character of this video game, Skycraft. He's a Medivh character. He's a mix of Medivh, Gandalf, Deckard Cain, all of those high level kind of characters that are, he's a bit of Thrall, he's a bit of all of those things. He's the Azerim Jesus, basically. He's this amazing character. He is actually the main character of the game. He's not the main character of NPC Man, that's Greg. He's the main character of the game. And he's meant to be a very holy character, this very friendly and loving and wants to save the world and is going to do right by everyone. But he is also, in NPC Man, the most sentient character, maybe just the most sentient, just under the Gravediggers. And so he knows he's in a video game.
That's right.
And he's lived God knows how many years in this knowledge, and it's kind of tortured him in a way, and that's turned him into the knowledge that he's the main character. He's egotistical. The knowledge that he's in this video game makes him self-aware, but also makes him a bit like self-destructive in a lot of his, well, self-destructive and world-destructive. There's a lot of layers to Baradun, and sadly we haven't really properly dug into a lot of them, and maybe we will in the future. Maybe there'll be Baradun's route or something. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
And now here he is in D&D. He's had his powers taken away from him in some interesting fashion, a fashion within the video game that he can't retcon himself, and he's, at least in the first few episodes, been weakened and not all powerful, able to skip around the game wherever he wants and do whatever he wants. So it's a very, very fun character to play. And also, he's a piece of shit. It's fun playing a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Adam in board is a meek puppy dog in the Tech-Town series, but then in D&D and NPC Man, I get to play a piece of shit, and that's very fun.